Meanwhile, as the government's internal clashes continue, Idriss Deby, the president of Chad, arrived yesterday for an almost secret trip. Deby's visit was only revealed at the very last minute, and it makes him the first sitting president of Chad, a Muslim-majority African nation, to come to Israel. But Netanyahu and Deby both hailed the trip as an historic visit, where the two countries who haven't had any diplomatic relations in nearly 50 years can begin a new chapter. In fact, Netanyahu also praised the trip as symbolic of the growing ties Israel has made worldwide. Though security was the main focus of the visit, as indicated both in the comments made by Netanyahu and the Chadian leader during yesterday's press conferences, as well as by Chad government sources speaking to Reuters. This has led opposition leader Tamar Zandberg from Meretz to demand to know if Israel will include an arms sale to the African nation in any recent agreements. Zandberg said that the concern is that Israeli arms will be sold, quote, to persecute political opponents, human rights activists, and journalists, end quote. She then continued to accuse Deby of being, quote, a despicable person who's responsible for the persecution of LGBT people, arresting journalists, arresting dissidents in the opposition, and establishing a dictatorial regime in his country, end quote, as well as accusing Netanyahu of tarnishing Israel's reputation with these types of relationships. And Israeli arms have indeed found their way into the hands of some of the world's worst human rights abusers, like apartheid South Africa and even more recently to South Sudan. On the other hand, Chad is one of the countries in Africa that has received Western backing as well, including from the United States, in order to fight ISIS and Boko Haram terrorists in West Africa.